moves on to Stockholm. And there, of course, the home crowd is very keen to see how their drivers perform, with 4 of them in the top 8 of the championship tables. Danny Bertel leading, but Kronogard second in the championship, Strom third. 10,000 people had gathered together, only to be disappointed when it was discovered that the water was too rough to race. The umpires and the drivers held a meeting and decided to postpone the start of the race by an hour, from 6 o'clock in the evening until 7 o'clock, to give the water a chance to settle down in the dying evening breeze. And that chance as well gives the drivers nerves to stretch. Not much to do, but a final polish and adjustment to the boat, waiting for the off.
We have some problem with the weather today. It's very windy and choppy water, so it's going to be a risky race, but I think it's going to be fun to look at.
Fun to watch. How much fun to drive for Danny Bertels?
So this year's runner-up, you're in the lead so far. Will you lead after this race as well?
No, I don't think so. This is not my type of water. I think I'm not experienced enough to race on these very rough conditions. I think we can expect one of the Swedish teams in front today.
Andy Elliott is running a new boat for the 1990 circuit. Is this the sort of weather he really wants to take her out and try her?
You did win last year, but you're not in the top so far. I mean, I'm 4th at the moment. I'm only 3 points behind the leader, so it's still very close. You got an all-new boat for this race? Yes, I had the new boat here. We picked it up Wednesday, and Gus Palmer from Holland, he drove it here for me, and I flew out Friday. I'm still getting used to the boat, but I'm happy with my 4th position on the grid yesterday.
And in first position on the grid yesterday was hometown favourite Leonard Strom, who set up a blistering practice time of 52.6 seconds. Danny Bertel took second position on the grid, and Kronogard was third. 2 other Swedes also filled the top 6 places on the starting pontoon. And they're off, straight down in towards the setting sun, and straight away the rooster's tails climbing high as the boats hit the first of the rough water. See how they're pitching and leaping as they pound down the course towards the first turn. Very packed round that first marker buoy, but it looks like a white boat. It's Anders Andersson, the home boy, straight into the lead. Leonard Strom running up hard behind his wake there. Lots of rescue boats on the course, but this is still Andersson in the lead. The boat almost out of the water. Digging in to keep a grip, and that Strom coming inside him. A very tight turn. Strom now on the all-important inside of the course, making sure, of course, that he keeps outside of Anders' wake. Anders makes it round the bottom pin again. Very short lap this, less than a minute takes them to do this lap, travelling at speeds of almost up to 100 miles an hour. Imagine the concentration. Strom pushing Anders very hard indeed, going up the outside. Strom on the outside in the boat with the closed cockpit. That's the special safety cell, new for this season. Looks as if he's going to get past him. Could be just the camera angle. The boat's bouncing very hard in the choppy water. Anders still in the lead as they dig in. May have dug in too hard. Strom's going to be on the outside now as they run up this straight. There he goes, coming past again. Will he get past him before the bottom pin? I think he's done it. Yes, he has. He's overtaken him, coming up the back straight now. And that's Leonard Strom, second last year in the championship, running now before his own home crowd here in Stockholm in Sweden. Straight into the lead. Andersson third, and that's Andy Elliott running fourth. Now these closed cockpits that you see these boats have, they're very important from a safety point of view. Inside that cell is a complete Kevlar carbon fiber construction, that a little capsule in which the driver sits. He's strapped in. He also has an oxygen tube in there in case the boat flips. Gives him about 20 minutes of air if the boat is upside down. That's a British invention, invented by a man called Chris Hodges after the famous British driver Tom Spalding was killed in 1984. The safety cell has saved literally dozens of lives in Formula 1 and in Formula 3 powerboat racing ever since then. Lennart Strom safely in the lead, lifting the boat out of the water. We've talked about the danger of flipping with these boats. One of the problems is with all these catamarans, that deck underneath the cockpit between the two hulls acts like a wing. That's what lifts the boat out of the water, build up the air pressure between it and the surface of the water as the boat drives along at about 100 miles an hour. But if you just overcook that too much, you send the boat straight up in the air. That's not fast. That's very slow and can be terminal. And that's Andy Elliott now up into second place ahead of Anders Andersen. So Andy Elliott from Britain, the reigning world championship, chasing hard on last year's runner-up for the championship, Lennart Strom. Danny Bertels, number 9 in the Valvoline boat, another boat with an enclosed cockpit built by Burgess. And number 2, Peter Wollrich from Germany. Danny Bertels, a man of very many parts, a water skiing champion between 1978 and 1984. Then he took to go-karting. Then he started motocross sidecar racing, if you would believe it. Racing hard here now in his single-seater Formula 3 boat. And that's Kling on this side, number 8. Number 8 is Jimmy Kling, also from Sweden. These two having a great race down the outside of the course. Bertels going wide, takes him on the outside. Is he in front? No, Kling still has him. Drivers have to make up their mind whether they go fast and wide around these pins at either end, or whether they dig in, make a very tight turn, lose speed inevitably, but then they have to trim the boat out again, apply the power, lift the boat quickly up onto the plane and get back up to speed. So far that tactic is helping Kling. Number 3, Gustav Palmen, but that is Strom, still leading. Lennart Strom from Sweden, running well in front of his home crowd. Gus Palmen from the Netherlands. Strom is actually coming up to lap him now. Getting very choppy indeed. This weather really hasn't settled down, despite the fact they delayed the start for an hour to try and allow the water to calm a bit, let the evening breeze die. Number 15, we don't know him, but I don't think he's going to be in the frame very long. Lennart Strom takes him, and that's the difference between a world champion and an all-around. See the way Strom just cut right in front of him. Quite legal, that, of course. The boat in front has complete right-of-way. It's just like motorcar racing in this respect. Once you're in front, you choose your line. And what's this? That's the Valvoline boat. That's Danny Bertels upside down, and there's something missing. The engine has been ripped out of that boat. He must have flipped. He's done some sort of a flip and landed on the back end of the boat, ripped the engine completely out of it. But I think we saw the cockpit lid. Yes, the cockpit lid is open. There's Bertels climbing out of the boat. The yellow flag from the umpires means that he's safe. There's no need to stop the race. Just please do not run into this illegally parked boat. Lennart Strom, unaffected by Danny Bertels' demise, although Danny Bertel, of course, leading the World Championship stakes until the start of this race. He said at the beginning that he didn't think that he was going to finish in good order. I rather think that he didn't think that was going to happen to him, though. And there goes Lennart Strom, and coming up now to the finish, just lapping one of his teammates from Sweden. One more lap to go. This is them on the final lap. And this is Lennart Strom winning in front of his home crowd here at Stockholm at Sweden. The final turn comes up to take the checkered flag and win the 4th race. Let's have a word.
It's the toughest race ever that I've driven, because it was so choppy water and the wind. So my arms I get cramp in my arms, so it's very tough.
You flipped, Danny. What happened?
I think it's experience mainly. It's my first season in Formula 3 and nothing really went wrong. I felt it coming. I was just too late to react. When I started reacting, I was gone already.
But for Leonard Strom, it's a lap of honour in front of his home crowd. Andy Elliott, the second place. That brings him nicely back up the championship table again. Kronogard third, Wallisch fourth, Anderson fifth. And the World Championship points. Let's see how they stand now with 4 races done. Strom is in the lead. Elliott and Kronogard equal on second place, only 4 points behind Strom. Bertels 17, and these 4 well in front. Join us after the break for onboard action from the Formula 3 Powerboat Racing